Yes, I started at 8 p.m. and that's the way things are. That's all there is to it. Yeah, this is. Oh, you're in the wrong. You can't see what I'm saying. That's it. Let's do that. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, or afternoon, or morning, or whenever you're watching this. Thanks for being there. I appreciate it. Today, I'm sort of open-minded, and I thought I'd put out to the audience. If you got a request, and at the moment, I'm the only one in there, but that's okay. Looks like I'm live and doing the job. Thanks for, like I said, thanks for being here. I've got the audio down on the on the web page on the chat room, which I got it up, and all you got to do is type away, and I can see it. And tonight, there's a couple of things. One of the things I've been talking about doing, and I'm finally going to do it, is I think I have a piece I'm going to make some silver rod out of. So we're going to try it out and see where it gets us. Uh, Here, let's go ahead and change back to the other. There we are. Hey, I didn't know we were like, yeah, okay. Um, Now, hey, nice to see that a few people showed up. Start out with tonight is I'm going to take this, which was one of my silver punties that I was using to fume things with, and I'm going to make it into one of the silver rods, very similar to this. What type of pattern is going to come out of it? Like this one, it's got chaos going on this end, and this side it looks really nice and swirly and pretty interesting, to say the least. Yeah, here we go. Now you can see. But this one, and you can see it's got more swirls of twists and colors of the. Uh, so anyway, here we go. We're going to start it off, and I'm in it concentrator up and running at the moment with this national torch. It helps to have a single flame going on to do it with. We're in business. Might help if I put the glasses on. If you have anything to say, type it in the chat room, and I'll see it. Like I say, I've got the chat room in front of me, and we can go from there, people. Okay. First of all, I'm going to warm this back up, and again, there is some silver still left into this piece of rod here, but that's going to be part of the actual color that comes onto the piece afterwards. It's it's part of the gimme, I guess you could say. Things that you got to do to get there. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to layer or encase this silver rod or the silver punty that I've been using to bring out silver in the glass. You know, the nice shiny fuming stuff coming up. And I'm going to encase it all the way around, like so. That's the first part of it. And then I'm going to twist, pull, and stretch and layer it in, fold it over, mix that silver right on into the piece or into the glass itself. Okay. Oops, there's still a little bit of silver showing, so I'm going to layer a little bit more clear down here at the bottom. Lay it right on over. There we go. And then I'm going to start twisting, pulling, and stretching and folding over. And this is basically all you really have to do to get the silver fume rod going on. I'm going to fold it over. And I'm going to get more of the chaos effect going on instead of just the nice swirl pattern. The chaos effect has its moments. And I call it chaos because, again, you saw me just twist it, and I just pulled it a little bit and then folded it over, and now it's got some more swirls going on than it had a minute ago. And some of these aren't very long to begin with. You put 2 or 3 of them together. Like I said, you saw that one that had the nice swirl pattern going on, and then you saw the one that was, and that's what I'm making, is more or less the chaos and order one here. There we go. Yes, I'm adding a few little air bubbles in there, but gives it character, and a lot of them sort of just come to the surface and you can pop them off like I just did there. Oops, lost the feed. I wonder what's going on that it's causing this problem. I've never really seen it this bad before. I'm going to fold it over one more time. Really choppy. I'm going to have to make sure that I'm going to run inside real quick. Ah, darn. Too busy doing this. Now it's doing the job. And we got one rod. I was hoping to get at least a suggestion on what to do in the audience on the next thing. If you can type in the chat room what you'd like to see done. I noticed somebody's watching besides myself. After it cools, I'll show you what that looks like. It has some nice yellow color coming through it, and you heat it up and strike it a little bit in the oven, and you got some different colors. And there's some greens and yellows, and there we go. And that's from the silver punte that you don't know what to do with afterwards. Right? Right. Okay. Since nobody's there at the moment, we're going to, let's see. Been doing them all day long. May as well continue. Actually, no, I'm going to do a little tiny mermaid until somebody just makes a suggestion going on. Sounds like a plan. Mermaids are my second favorite. Dragons are my first. This is going to be the fins to the bottom half of this mermaid. Coming up on this, I got a piece of green exotic that I'm working from. Okay. I see a few people who joined the chat room. Say hi. Type in. And if you have a request that you'd like to see me do, just name it out and I'll see what I can come up with. Because that's half the fun of this. My shows is it's not what I can do, it's what we can do together. Ain't that the truth? Okay. Anyway, now we're gonna. Okay, this is the basic body to this mermaid. I usually do an S curve to the body. Like so. I widened it out a little bit, but this will do. Makes a good pendant size that I'm doing right now. There we are. Ah, itch. What is it you always get going and you have something hot in your hands, and then you get a itch on the end of your nose or something. This is blue exotic that I'm using for the end of the tail here. There we go. Fold and pull method for the tail. It comes in handy a lot. Once you've mastered it, or once you get it to where you can work with it, it really does increase your palette without having to stop and press something and or crimp something and then pull it out into the right shape. To just sort of do a couple of swirls of glass and or swifts and get the same results going. Okay, a little bit of an hourglass on the body of the mermaid, as you can see, more of a peanut shape. And then she's not going to be too endowed, but just a little bit there. Now the arms, I usually do the L shape for the arms. These are what I call the L shape. It's where you pull it out in one direction and then get about halfway and then heat it and bend it and go in the other direction to give you that, as you can see, an L. And I use the L out of that. I know, bad pun. Nobody's watching at the moment. It must be a bad connection or something. There we go. Oh, itch again. What is it with these itches? Here we go. Back down to just myself again in the audience. That's weird. My life happens. I go on because I know somebody eventually watches this. It helps. Now with the mermaid's hair, again, I do a pull up for the neck and then a round ball for the head of the, and I do not put a face on my mermaids. I let your imagination fill in the face. And it does a decent job of that, believe me. I let the person's imagination fill in the face. Now, it sounds weird, but what you do not put on something, their imagination will bring it into play. And I do the fold and pull and then sort of do a wave to one side with it. And then always to the side of the hair, I do like these little tufts. And it gives it like, she just had her hair done or whatever. You know how that is. I'm going to put a loop here on the top of the head for a veil. And then I'm going to fume this with silver. And we got ourselves a nice little mermaid. Okay. I'm surprised nobody else is in the room. Interesting. I guess somebody's got places to be and people to see. Okay. Especially since I even announced it ahead of time. Wow. Okay. Now the silver fume. I've got a piece of the silver rod, or a piece just like I just made at the very beginning, with a lot of silver still left on it. I don't know if you can see the little nib, but anyway, it's on there. And it's just a matter of adjusting the flame so that you've got just a little bit of going here. And you get it right at the right temperature, and that silver just dances from one piece to the other like it's going out of style. You got a nice gold tone body top here. It's funny how it heats up and melts and sort of is into the glass. It's kind of weird that way, but you just use it to your advantage. There you go. Oh, that one just really danced over. There we go. And we got ourselves a silver fumed mermaid. Isn't that special? Okay. Now, next, let's put it over here so you can see it. There we are. Now I've got a couple of repairs that I could actually work on. Let me see here. Well, that one's two gone. That one's two gone at the moment. I want to do something that I can. Let's see. Hear any requests? It doesn't look like anybody's in the chat room. That's scary. Okay, another snail. Did one earlier, probably a couple of a day or so ago. I was really excited about, and I'm going to try to go something on the same line. That snail was hollow. This snail is going to be solid, solid rod, but with the same basic principle for the body, where I'm going to actually, let's straighten that out a little bit and do the curlicue for the body itself, or the shell. Okay. Instead of doing the twist like I normally do, I'm actually corkscrewing the shell. There we go. Just a little bit more. Ah, ah. Let gravity work for me a little bit. Corkscrew it just a little bit more. There we go. I'll pull it off right about there. Whole shell or the snail on the end of this. Now the other snail was done with silver fume for the body, and I figure why not? Since it looked nice, I'm going to continue with it, and we'll go from there. Okay, now basic body, a lot of silver rod to the bottom here, and that's going to splay out in one direction and be the head, and splay out in the other direction and be the tail. This side's going to be the head. And this side's going to be the tail. There we go. And now we're going to flatten the base of this. And last time I used some amber purple for the actual antennae, which is a silver-based color anyway, but it turns out more amber. The name of my daughter. Oops. When you're hot, you're hot. You don't want to touch. There we go. Okay. There we go. Now, if I can find that amber purple. Oh, here it is. If it's not, it'll work anyway. Yeah, this is the amber purple. Looks very similar to the silver fumed rods, but it's encased. And the amber purple, again, has a nice amber color to it from time. And then there's like double amber purple. That's also with North Star. Works out really well for some colors and pieces. Great, makes great tubing for other things. Okay. There's the antennae. They don't look any different right now, but once you sort of warm it in a little, they turn a better color of amber. Sometimes you got to let them cool just slightly and then go from there. There you go. Can't see much, but it is turning darker than the body. You just got to gently bring the striking color to it. And you can do that in the oven quite nicely. Hello, I'm glad somebody's out there. Type in and say hi if you can. I usually have about 3 or 4 in the audience tonight. I've only got you. Who knew? But there is one little snail, which turns out really, really nice. If you got a suggestion that, or if you got a request that you'd like to see me do, type it in and I'll get her done. That's part of the program here is people saying, hey, I would like to see this done, or I'd like to see that done. Matter of fact, I'm going to add, this is the rod that I did at the beginning of the show. I'm going to add it to one of my other silver fumed rods. Oops, a little bit of stress going on there, but it happens. There we go. Swirl those two together. They look really good if you want to add some design or color to something. So they come in handy using those rods like that. Okay, okay. Now, back to the show. Trying to think. Swan, bear, whale, snail, unicorn, dolphin. Haven't done a dolphin in a while. Let's do a dolphin. Pod of dolphins, 2 or 3 of them together. Right. Not that one. Let's use, this is solid. Some nice twirl colors that are in this piece to let you see. And that's going to make, I'm going to do 2, maybe 3 dolphins out of this together. Make a little pod. Never hurts to have, to be in a group instead of all by yourself, right? Again, if you have any questions or want a request, just name it out here in the chat room. If you're on a cell phone, all you got to do is scroll all the way down to the bottom. Oh yeah, this is a little bit stressed out, but it'll do the job. All the way down to the bottom, and you can see live chat. Click on that, and then you can get into the chat room and type away or talk away, depending upon whether you like to type or talk. But it's still going to turn into the text. Excuse me. Okay. One dolphin's going to be this long. We're going to let it swirl and twirl a little bit. got some interesting breaks in the color because the stress in the glass that I sealed it back together with. Glad to see somebody else joined us. Thank you for showing up. If you want to type in the chat room, have fun. I do answer questions as I go along. It's just a matter of me looking up while I'm working, and at the moment, I can do that. Unless I'm working on something really big, mean, and different. But at the moment, I can do that. Dolphins I've got down. There we go. That's the basic dolphin body, believe it or not. Now the trim, I've got, let's do, here we go. Nope, not that one. Here we go. Not encased. So like a teal or turquoise color for the fins and tail and head. Okay. I usually start with the dorsal fin in the middle and work my way from front to back. I don't know why, but I do. And the idea of a perspective on the rest of the body, I guess. There is the, and now we'll put the two regular fins here in front of that. I usually do that in a perspective of halfway between the head and the dorsal fins for the front fins. There's one. Let's do another. Same idea. Okay. Now this is a national torch that I'm using right now instead of my Carlisle. Just wanted to switch it out a little bit and get some things going. Just trying out to let you know that you don't have to have the big, mean, heavy-duty torch all the time. You can work your work with a small torch. You don't have to have the big, mean, bad one. Matter of fact, most of my glass blowing existence, well, about half and half actually now, but was with the same torch, just like this. Victor for a while, which is a welding torch. And then I had the torch, which I made a little vise going through my table where it was made into a similar to this so that you could sit it and just work with it. And then I finally went to a Carlisle. I know that's a jump, but it did the job. Now we're going to do the back part of this dolphin. And then we're going to do one more of them and put them together. Right? Right. And again, if you have a request, talk to me and we can do it in the audience. I mean, we can do it fairly quickly because that's part of my fun with my glass blowing live is to get input from the audience. But also knowing that somebody's going to be watching it, enjoying it also is pretty cool. Okay, now the back fin is very similar to what we've been doing. Basically two dorsals, smaller dorsals on the side here. There's one. Here's another. Now I'm also going to put a reference point here on the, like a, nah, I'll figure it out later. I'll warm it back in and do it. Where I'm going to put the two of them together. Because when I do a pod, they're connected. They're not just setting side by side. Well, looks like we got somebody else who joined in the crowd. Hello, hello. I'm working on a dolphin pod. I've got two dolphin. I got one dolphin done, and I've got to do another one to make this pod work. These fins are a little bit long, but we're gonna shorten them up a little bit right here, right now. There we go. Bring that back into the rod. There we go. I like that better. One dolphin down. Actually, I'm gonna heat and stretch just between the tail and the dorsal fin a little bit because that's what I want to do. Again, if you have a request, the chat room. We'll see what I can do about getting it done. Oh, great. Freezing on me. Is that what the problem is? Interesting. Okay, now that's done. Let's get the other dolphin done. And that rod that I was using is getting a little short, so I'm going to go ahead and another one, like so. There we go. Oh, glad to see a few people are showing up. Any requests that you'd like to see done, or just chime in the chat room and say hi. It's good to see a few people showing. That's a good thing. Now I'm doing a pod of dolphins. I've got one dolphin done. You can see him right there that I've done, and I'm going to go ahead and do another dolphin, maybe a little bit smaller to go with that one, or maybe a little bit bigger. I don't know. We'll figure it out when we get there. Hey, crazy. Show up. For a minute there, I thought the chat room was frozen or something. Nobody was chiming in. That's life in general. You know, I keep it going no matter what. That's the fun thing because I know somebody's going to watch it eventually, right? It's like a tough job, but somebody's got to do it. Anyway, okay, let's make the basic shape for this other dolphin here. This is some swirl pattern going on, uh, green color. There's some blues and other colors going on in there too. Reds, come to think of it now that the striking color's coming out, but we'll get there. Warming it in, I mean melting it down, getting what I need out of it. Dolphin, as it were. Okay. Yeah, tonight so far I've made a mermaid, I've made this snail, and now I'm making this dolphin pod. Who knew, right? You never know what you're gonna. In my case, I go with what's available and what the audience comes up with. Here we go. There is the dorsal fin again. Melt that down just slightly. Front fins, usually again halfway between. Here goes the other. And there we go. That folding pull comes in so handy. A lot of little things that you don't have to stop, crimp, and then pull it out. Nose, the eyes. Now let's see where we're going to do this here. How they're going to go together. That'll work. Something like that. All right, that's what I'll do. Attached at one of the fins. We'll see. We'll figure it out. Let's do the tail and work our way out around this, okay? I'm almost through with this, guy, so if anybody's got a request, now's the time. Just type it in the chat room. And if you're watching it on a phone, all you got to do is scroll down to the bottom of the phone and it's there. You just got to click on the live chat and type away. Also, click like, click subscribe, and if you have any comments, now's the time. I know, I feel like Ferris Bueller's teacher. Anyone? 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 Okay, now the back fins. There we go. One. And two. I know I'm using the National, but it's getting the job done. See, I want people to see that you don't have to have the big, mean, bad torch to get any results. Right now, I'm running on the 10 liter per minute concentrator. For some smaller stuff like this, I could probably go down to the 5 liter without too much trouble. A lot of work out of it. I wish, and when I first started, if I had had a concentrator, I'd be doing a whole lot better than I was. Right, as far as not as skimpy with the oxygen and stuff. Probably do bigger things by now too. But I loved doing the small things when I started because it was a way of conserving the gas and also getting the job done, I guess. There we go. Let's put one at the tip and one at the tail. One that I've got in my right hand back up to snuff here. And we'll figure out we're going to go together. Something like that is what I have in mind. Should work. Okay. Warm this baby back in. That's part of the fun. Keep the other one warm at the same time. This is nothing. Once you learn how to do, pat your head and rub your belly at the same time or something like that, or burst of ice, you can do this. Or if you learn how to juggle, you can do this. Keeping them both warm. Okay. Right about, bring it back down to a sharper flame. Hold it. There we are. A little bit sharper flame. And we're going to put it right here to the side of the body. Ah! Touched his eye to the fin. There we are. Yeah, let's do this. I'm going to add just a little bit of a a little bit of a indentation here, not an indentation, but a little bit of a rise of glass, a place to seal them together well. And it's going to go right about in there. And that'll help to make sure that they seal together well. There we go. Get them right at the right angle. Heat them up. There we go. Yeah. And it also sealed on the, as I was melting them together, the fin on the side of the dolphin sealed onto it also. I'm going to leave it. And, well, that'll work. And we got nice pod. Should stand pretty nicely. We'll figure it out in just a second. I think I've got enough on in here. Interesting tripod, not tripod, but 4-leg effect going on. Let's check it out. In your mind's eye, sometimes, I guess not. Got to twist and turn him just a little bit further back. Basically like that. That'll work it. Where the center of gravity is on most of the pieces. That's the fun part. Oops, let's see if that worked. Oh yeah. I still have to touch it up just slightly. So you use yours from time to time, Crazy? That's reminds me where I came from. Going back to the simple way of life, instead of having all the flames and tips, to do is just adjust the flame. That was the only thing I really got frustrated with the National, was that, you know, you wanted to get into a bigger flame, so you had to turn everything off. You had to tip and put another tip on and then turn it back on and get it going. But if you're working on a budget and you've only got so much to deal with, the National is a very nice torch. Again, it's a workhorse. You can put a big bushy bush flame going on, or you can do a really fine point. Matter of fact, for this ad at one time, it's probably around somewhere, but it had a double-aught tip, 0-0 tip. Instead of just a number 2 or a number 3, it was 0-0, meaning it was really, really small. And again, when you're working with that 0-0 tip, you have to practically have the propane at 2 pounds at the most, and then the oxygen not very high at all either. And it gets the job quite done. Hush tips. Now, we're going to call that. I'm going to have to really work just a little bit more, probably on the tail here, so where both tails are tilting down. And I might even put one more dolphin in that mix, and I've got enough glass, but I'm not going to do it today. But I will show it to you once I get it all said and done, because that's the way I am, right? I've been meaning to do that silver fume. You got to watch it from the beginning. But what I did was I took some of the silver fume punte and made it into this silver fumed rod here that works out real well. I did it on silver fumed elephant earlier today, where you can see on the tusks, I use that rod to give it more texture and color coming out in the piece. Way you can see a hole here and a hole there. That's the thing I like about my beads is that if you need to, you can hole right here and a hole coming right out of the top of his head. It doesn't matter where you blow the holes at. You just gotta, you can do that. Have you guys used with the 3A? I've used the 3. I've used the 5, but I don't like it. It's really loud, but it does get a lot of flame going on. I have used, like I say, that double aught tip, and you got to take the poundage down to the propane and the oxygen down to practically nothing. But if you want to do some tiny, tiny 4 of them on your thumbnail size, you can do that. And then on top of that, I've also used a bush flame. It's got like 4 or 5 holes in it. And I don't know what happened to that at this point, but passed. But with the Carlisle, all you got to do is a flick of the wrist, and you can open up the bottom single valve, or you can open up the outer ring and get a whole nother system going on practically. Okay, got a round ball going here. I have no idea what I want to do with it, but I'll do it. Let's see, what is it calling out to be? Follows, fails, when in doubt, make a turtle, right? Let's do it. I'm going to do this a little bit different. I'm going to encase this thing, but I'm going to bring out some bumps first. I'm going to silver fume it. Okay. Now let's get the silver. There we go. Is that it? That's it. That's it. Probably at the right flame for fuming the silver here. Oh yeah. Take it down a little bit. Take it down another notch anyway. Pinch it out a little bit too. It seems like it's recessing again. Oh, there we go. Ha ha ha. Now we're going to add clear to the top of this. We'll use this one. Kick it up a notch. Silver layered in. Okay. I've got silver bumps here. Now I'm just going to press some clear rod over it. And it's going to encase those bumps. A little bit of implosion going on. But that wasn't the main thing that's going to go on here. But I am making a sea turtle. I'm just doing it up a little different instead of just a sea turtle, like I always do. I kick it up a notch, as it were. Give you something to do. Okay. Now we're going to round that. and then we're gonna marble mold. Where is it? There it is. There we go. Been a pressure, Lou. Oh, thanks, crazy. I understand. Out. You can watch. I appreciate you showing up and saying hi. At least I know to you. I knew the video. The chat room was still live. Okay, and we're letting that sort of round in. Yeah, it did get a little bit of implosion stuff going on. I'm gonna go ahead and flatten that out a little bit more. Oh yeah. Ah. Now we're going to hold it by the top of this thing. Cold weld, of course. Now heat it and melt in the bottom of this baby. That turned out pretty cool. I like the way that the colors are coming out in it, and it's just simple fumed and encased it. So you never know what you can accomplish just by playing and practicing. Being in the mix, I guess you could say. Press it down a little more. With that, we're gonna make, using silver fumed rod that I've actually made today on the beginning of the show, I'm going to make this with the front part of it. Here we go. That fold and pull really makes out good once you learn how to do it. And there we go. Some suggestions or comments, or you'd like to see me do something in particular in a up and coming show, please give me a email. My email address is right there on the bottom of. You can chat with me live, and um, also have Facebook. I also have Instagram, and those are also on the tag at the bottom of the screen there. Just a matter of if you want to see a certain animal made, or if you want to. I haven't done in a long while, but I probably could take on a live student over the air again. I haven't done that, but I need to. There's a lot of things that I could be doing, but I haven't. And again, if you have any suggestions for a show that you'd like to see me do, just type it in and we'll see what we can do. Almost there. I got the tail done. I think I'm going to give it just simple because I have the blue sitting right here. Part two. I'm going to put the loop on the side. Take from Dawn. She gave me the suggestion, and I've used it a couple of times on other things. So I'm going to off of this fin here, and we'll see how it goes. There we go. Loop, bail, whatever you want to call it. And after that, I think I'm going to call it quits. Now, when and if you have a problem with your Of course, when I want to talk about it, ever around to talk about it. Okay, here we go. This has a loop that started to collapse, and what you need to do is just take a piece of graphite. If you have an old big fat pencil, you want to use that graphite, it will work. Of course, you got to make sure it's just the graphite and not the lead pencil wood along with, but that'll work. Okay, I'm gonna do a cold weld at his neck. At his head here. Tap off the back side. And now I'm going to warm it all up and stretch it out slightly. Right now it's more of a circle or a disc. And what I'm going to do now is sort of warm it and make it into an elongated oval shape. I usually do that with my turtles. It sort of brings it all back up to heat and evenly. Can I do a cat? Yes, I can do a cat. Give me a sec. You request, I can do. Finish this guy first. Okay. I do a cat sitting, laying on its back, playing with its tail. Heating up just the main part of the body, and then pulling slightly to give it more of an oval shape instead of a round disc shape going on. And it does quite nicely for the whole thing. And we got one silver fumed sea turtle. Okay. Now, cat. You're not comfortable doing those bales? I can understand. It takes practice. And again, all you're sort of doing, the way I usually do it is let gravity work with me. I'll do another quick bale here just to show you off, and then I'll do the cat, okay? Now, I usually start and pull upwards with the bale instead of downward, and then curve it around, and then you got your nice little hook going on. And then I go back about 2/3 and let gravity work with you, see? It sort of slumps down on its own. And then I bring it together, touch it too, and seal it in. And then when it starts to collapse on me a little bit, I take a pair of graphite, flare it out a little bit. There we go. Again, I work upwards with now there's some times that I want to do and I get better results, like when I'm doing a swan neck or something like that, to get better results going, making it straight instead of swivel back and forth. I'll actually pull downward and let gravity work with me that way to do it. But with those, I usually pull upwards and over, and then let gravity work with it and let it slump down. Maybe just the face of a cat. Okay, let's do that. A face of a cat. Is that what you said, Daddy Flakes? Fat Stacks. Daddy Fat. Okay, cool name. Sorry, I said Flakes. Stupid me. Dyslexia when you read things. You see F and then you see the KS at the end, you think Flakes. I'm sorry. Okay. Is that what you want to see me do? Is just the cat face? Okay. Let's do her. Now, cat face, half the image of my cat is the whole body, but the cat face does make it look like a cat. You just got to add a little bit more to it to give it a little bit of detail to let it look like a cat. Now, you really wanted a nice cat face. You got to look at some of Shell's. I She does wonderful animal portraitures, I guess you could call it. She turns the animal's head into a nice bead. I mean, cats and dogs. She just really goes to town on that. Okay, I've got it sort of slumped to one side, and that makes the front of the head. And I'm going to go ahead and do the ears to the cat. And with the ears to the cat, I point them off to the side, basically, like so. There you go. The eyes, I got this teal color going on. I mean, this color, we'll get it turquoise. I think I could do the eyes a little bit too high, but they'll do. Now the nose. With the nose, I usually press in and then pull up. Now you put too much on there, you put there, and it could look like a dog easily. Matter of fact, that's what I did. Okay. Another thing that'll make it look more like a cat, if you want to put detail. But again, the more detail you put on something, the uglier it's going to look, and that's what this is turning out to be. So I'm going to, good thing, you can just alter and erase. If you can put them on there and make them look nice, do it. If you can't, don't worry about it. Also, another thing you can probably put some detail on. Let's do it. Is just below the. Almost looking like a chihuahua. Ah, we'll get there. I'm going to put just a little bit of a mouth. And that's my cat. And again, most of my cats look more like cats because I add the cat body to them. We're going to go ahead and pull that off. Where are you out of, Daddy? Fat sacks? You in the States? You in oh, yeah. The luminescence really came through on the silver on this thing. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. Probably not. I'm going to have to take some good pictures for you guys to see these things. But oh, you're in Miami. My father used to live down in down right off US 1. Uh, 8775 Southwest. Oops. I ain't gonna go and bug my family. That's it. Yeah, down in the Southwest. I guess it was not day. It was coral something. They kept shrinking the I don't know what you call it the boundaries of the. No, I wouldn't say the county, but the actual. What am I doing? Oh yeah, that's what I'm doing. Changing the camera angle here since I'm done with the torch. Anyway, you're not too far from there. That's where I started at. There was a guy down at the mall, uh, further down Dade, South Dade Mall, I think it was, or whatever. Anyway, um, and I used to go down there and watch one guy. And this was back in the '80s. He had a little booth, a kiosk booth there, and worked out real well for him. And he was the first person that gave me a chance with doing glass blowing, and gave me a project of doing yeah, some golf bags, and he would make the little clubs to go in it, and he'd sell it. He used to make some money off of it. Winchester Mall. I don't know if it's Winchester Mall. I don't think it was named that at Winchester Mall at the time, but yeah, it was further down South Dade. Trying to think the name of it at the moment, but it was a and that's when I started working with just a propane blowtorch. That's what I all I had available. But I finally got me a welding torch and started melting, pulling, and stretching. I got pretty good results with just soft glass. It turned out uh, fairly nice. Way. It's been so long since I've lived down in that direction. But again, I used to go down to that mall and watch the guy. His name was Dick Burkhalter. I hope he doesn't mind me using his name. I don't know where he's been to or what he's up to at this point in time in life, but I want to thank him for the starts that he gave me so many years ago. He's probably shaking his head and saying he hasn't done much with it. Guys, that's the main thing. And I'm thankful for that chance that I have to show what I have to give to you guys. Um, at this point, I'm going to call it quits for the night. I'm also do something on my other channel tonight. I'm going to do another tobacco pipe, and that channel is called Piping Hot Art Glass. And I can put a link in the descriptions down below so that you can see what I'm up to. But I decided to put that channel on itself and this more for anybody who wants to know beads and marbles and figurines, and anybody who wants to do tobacco pipes can go to that channel. Thank you again for showing up and being part of my audience. And with that, um, I always enjoy having some feedback from the audience. So if you have a suggestion for an upcoming show, send it to me, talk to me. Um, might even drop me a line. I can talk to you on the phone. I don't mind doing that. I've done that several times to help people get started. So again, thank you. And as always, carpe vitro and enjoy your day.